Stop using church intimidation, control and manipulation. Jezebel and all them spirits fall back, not trying to hear it. Go with Jesus, walk in peace. On your pew can sit that beast that we're fighting in the world. I'm that JC Supergirl, Jesus Christ, belt of truth, arm of God. I'm slaying you, power of the word.
God bless you, everybody. Welcome again to the Crystal Jones Show, the show that's all about life's balance. We are so grateful to see you again, coming back to see what great things that we have to share for you. You all have been faithful audience members over the past 8 years. Thankfully, we're going soon into our 9th year of the production of this show. And it has been a blessing to many, as well as definitely to myself. I've learned a wealth of knowledge from every guest that has been on this show. Everybody has been appreciated. I was just talking the other day when we were doing a segment with Diane Johnson, how even a minister had come down from Buffalo, I believe it was. He brought his dancers down on a 6-hour bus ride. The bus broke down and everything, but they came and they represented. Awesome. So I thank God for people like that would come and share. And his dancers were awesome. Oh gosh, they were awesome. Young people. And he brought his church and everything. And it was just a blessing. But everyone that has been on the show, Regina has been on the show before, and she's back here today, Regina Lashley, and she has brought on her partner for her business, her new 501c3 business, Miss Kim Waldon. Yes. And they're here today on the show, but I'm so glad to see Regina back again. She's doing a lot with today's youth, and I was on one of her Zoom videos with young people, and it was regarding racism and what they've experienced or what they didn't realize was racism towards them, and how they dealt with it, how they felt, and even the parents that were on. It really, really touched my heart to see the parents on and how they were even being honest of how they really didn't know sometimes how to deal with it, how to tell their children that this is the world that we live in. Some people don't like us because of our culture, the color of our skin, where we're from, that type of thing. And it's becoming an open discussion amongst the Black culture. And I'm so glad to see that in and outside of the church, because I always tell people, yes, we may have a foundation in the church, but we have to live outside of the church too. Amen. The things that we learn in the Bible have to be walked out by faith amongst a world of people that don't necessarily believe the way that you do. Right. So
that's so true.
We have to, be the Bible in action everywhere that we go. Yes. And I often focus with people on the teachings of Christ, how he was out there amongst everybody. He didn't really even care for too much the attitude of the self-righteous or the people that felt they didn't need help or that they were just so perfect and that type of thing. Yes, we strive for perfection. We strive to do the best that we can. But I tell people too, one of my cousins was saying that she, as far as she could remember, she remembered me ministering in the church and stuff like that. But even with that, each Bible study or each whatever I learn, there's always more to learn.
Yes.
Always more. The most recent thing that I brought to my platform is who we really are, where we came from. Because our people really, a lot of our people think that Black history started here in America in 1619. No. And no, it did not.
That's right.
And I'm honest with them and tell them that I used to wonder, why is it that in school, all they teach us about is, and not that you're not thankful for these people, but you'd only hear about Harriet Tubman and Frederick Douglass in the school system,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I remember some of the schools I went to were predominantly Black, but we did have, you know, white teachers and things like that. But now I understand why they could not teach us our history. Because for one thing, a lot of them don't really know the truth about our history.
Right.
They don't realize how we arrived here and when. And so over the years, I had to go and do my own studies about how we came about in this country. How did we arrive here? Why did we come? Did we come here? Were we forced? Where were we before that? So I started with my own family.
That's right.
So that's how you have to start. And I remember talking with my father and him telling me that I know, you know, at the time, I think I was 12 or something like that. I was very young. And I remember him telling me that I'm going to be surprised when I find out who Christ is and where he came from.
That's
and
right.
I can remember him questioning me about it, saying, where do you think Christ came from? And I remember telling him, I think he came from Israel. And my father said, where's Israel? And I said, I don't know. And he said, yeah, he said it's in Northeast Africa. And I was like, huh? You know, and that was like my first awakening to, okay, something is different here from what we've been taught. And then I can remember my mother's sister sitting me down with our people charts. And that opened my mind up a whole lot, because she was able to trace back our first ancestor that was taken into slavery from Nigeria.
And always a beautiful thing.
Yes. She was brought over to the West Indies, which is where my mother's parents are from. They're from Montserrat, West Indies. And she was kidnapped and brought to Montserrat, West Indies. So from there, I remember my aunt saying the one that was brought over, she said she's from the Igbo tribe, and Igbos are Hebrews. And she said I believe she was Jewish. So I said to myself, how could she be a Jew if we're Black? You know, and so that started it changed my whole perspective with the Bible. So I had to go back and find out about Jewish people, the ones that are there now. I had to find out, where did they come from? And who's our ancestor? And I found out that Abraham, we're descendants of Abraham. And even in the Jewish almanacs and things, they tell you that they can never claim to be Hebrew, because their bloodline does not trace back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And I didn't know that.
Wow.
So when I found that out, I went back and I studied Abraham. And Abraham started off a Chaldean. Chaldeans were Iraqi people. And Chaldeans are Black people. See, we didn't learn that in Sunday school.
No, we surely
didn't know the history about that.
No.
Well, you know, my mind was blown, like Abraham was a brother, you know. So I started following the story on Abraham and how God separated him from the nations, the surrounding nations. And he told him, I'm going to make you a separate people, because the people that the surrounding nations were worshiping idols. So the Lord separated him and said, I want you to come out from among them, because I'm going to make you a separate nation of kings and priests and great people. And so he separated him. And in that separation came, he had his, Abraham's son was Isaac. And Isaac had two sons, which were Esau and Jacob. Esau came out red and hairy. Red and hairy is white. I didn't know that. So back in those times, see, the white nation of people didn't come about till there, you know, there was a certain point in history that they came about because of like leprosy and stuff like that, because before that the world was black. So when they came, you know, being that they had, you know, had leprosy, which is, you know, a curse.
Right.
Some people, I guess, down through the nations, you know, sometimes like even amongst us now, I can have a child that's very, very dark skinned, right? Because my grandfather and, you know, my two grandfathers and whatnot are very dark skinned people.
Right.
My complexion could come from the fact that my great ancestor who came from Nigeria had children with a white slave master. Okay. So it, you know, you don't know where you're going to get your complexion from.
That's true.
Right. So that's how that situation came about, is that Esau came out white. Jacob was the black one. So remember, Esau was supposed to be, the birthright was his in the beginning, but he didn't care for his birthright. So what he did was he sold his birthright to his brother Jacob. So Jacob, that, like the Bible said, Jacob have I loved and Esau have I hated, because he hated Esau's careless ways. He didn't care for the things of God like Jacob did.
Right.
So through Jacob, we became Israel. The Lord separated Jacob to become a nation of people through the promise he had given Abraham. So that's how we became the Israelites. But if you notice, the white Jews call themselves Israelis.
Yeah.
So they became that because they're from Europe. They're from Khazaria. There's a Khazarian kingdom that they came from, and they got to a point where they had to make a choice when they lived in Khazaria, whether they were going to be Muslim or Christian. They didn't want to be either. So at that time, our people had been scattered, because we have been enslaved in several enslavements and scattered to the four corners of the earth. And that is told to us even in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. We fit all of those curses that came upon our people. Even here to America, it describes us. It describes no other people. So even some of the white Jews will tell you, there are different ones that have written books, that the only people that fit the descriptions, the curses in the Bible are the Black Americans in America and all over the world. Because when we scattered, we started to look different, because now we're in every nation. So you have the 12 tribes, and all those tribes look different now. The Black Indians that they met when they said Christopher Columbus discovered this country, he didn't discover it. He came here, he saw Black Indians, and he saw Africans that were doing trade with them. Okay, so they are, I believe, from the tribe. I think the Black Indians are from the tribe of Gad or Dan. The Filipino people are from the tribe of, I think, Naphtali. We who are over here, basically, we're from the tribe of Judah and like Benjamin or Ephraim, because a lot of our people are West Indian. So West Indians, I think, are Benjamin or Ephraim. And so we have, and the Dominicans, they're from one of the tribes. So we have a lot of people that are actually one group of people. But why we came over here is because, like, my I think she's like my third or fourth great grandmother that came from Nigeria, that was in Nigeria. They got there because of the Roman and the Jewish revolt in 70 AD. When that revolt happened, our people scattered to different areas of Africa. So whenever the Israelites were in trouble, we ran to different areas in Africa, Egypt, Cameroon, this place, that place. But wherever we were, they marked us, because even in your Zondervan Bible, it will tell you that the Hamites, which are the African people, Ham is the father. I'm talking about the three sons of Noah that survived the flood, Ham, Shem, and Japheth. Ham is the father of dark-skinned people, but not the Negroes. We're the Negroes. The Negroes are the Shemites. We came from Noah's son, Shem. That's that line of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob. So when we fled at the Jewish and Roman revolt in 70 AD, our people fled into different areas of Africa. And when they would see us coming, they would mark off where we were. And that area would be called like the Kingdom of Judah or whatever tribe they believed it was we came from when we lived in Jerusalem.
Right.
So that's how, when they started the slave trade in America, they knew that we had built Egypt. They knew we had built the Assyrian kingdoms and different slaveries that we went into. So this is why they try to downplay us so bad. So they tricked us through the Hamites, you know, asking them to sell us to the white slave masters, because we wouldn't have just came out and walked on the boat. Come on. We didn't know them people. You know what I'm saying? We're not just gonna be walking up on somebody's boat.
That's right.
They paid the Hamites, the actual African people, they paid them to trick us to come out of our towns and villages that we lived in. And that's when you see the door of no return and all of that. So they tricked us onto the boat, you know, because once you get out of your quarters, now they got you. Right. Because they got guns and stuff. So we weren't used to that. So they got us over here because they knew we could build. We built everything in this country, including the White House. We built it for what? Free. We built it. Okay. A lot of these inventions and things, I didn't realize that we did, of course, because when you have to plow people's land and stuff like that, you're going to create something that's easier for you. So we created a lot of different things so that, you know, it would be easier on us, but we didn't know about having things patented.
That's true.
So they patented a lot of our things, and even to today, they'll say, "Oh yeah, we did," but they didn't invent those things. So now we're here, we're over here and everything, but they, of course, had to downplay us because they knew that we ruled great kingdoms. When we were in Jerusalem and different places, they know that we ruled great kingdoms. So they figure either they're going to rule or we're going to rule. Right. So you got to enslave people and tell them, oh, you're 3/5 of a person. Y'all come from monkeys. Y'all this, y'all that. And they would even say that we were so stupid that we couldn't learn. We couldn't speak English. No, we couldn't speak English because we were Hebrew. We spoke Hebrew. So when you go back to the early Baptist churches that are like in the South, you'll see on the size of the pews, Hebrew, because that's what we spoke and we wrote in Hebrew. You'll see the Hebrew alphabet in the church.
Right.
Because that's who we were. We were Hebrew people. So it's amazing to see the different eras that we've gone through, Jim Crow, this, that, and the other. And then now today, we're like, it seems like we're in like a really different type of stage of being here in this country, because this country is to its point where we don't know if it's going to last much longer. Mm-hmm. We really, really don't. And so I believe before we leave, because I believe eventually I would imagine eventually we're going to end up in our homeland. I don't know if it'll be in our day, but before we leave, I believe transference of wealth is coming to us. That's right. And I believe we will leave with a high hand, just like we did when we were in Egypt. Yes, we left with much riches and wealth and all of that, because that's who we are. We are a royal priesthood, a chosen generation. We've been given all of that through God. I mean, look how we dominate the sports. Look at our men. You can't beat them. You can't beat our men. They jump like crazy. They football, they this, they that. Our women, you can't beat us with fashion, hair, all kind of everything that we do. Everything that we do.
And that's the beauty of things.
It is the beauty.
Things of being able to create all of those things. And you know what? We get to do that. We truly do.
Yes, we truly do. And even, you know, seeing what you're doing, Regina and Kim, you know, with your 501c3, with your business and seeing the need to help the youth. Because I work with the incarcerated, and it breaks my heart to see when I see the 18-year-olds and the 17-year-olds there, you know, and you know, being a part of helping to create programs even there so that they will go out and get not just get jobs, because I tell them too, y'all could create your own jobs.
That's right.
Right.
Y'all could do that.
That's
you know,
right.
Some of them like cooking and stuff. I say, listen, you're a chef, okay? You know, you may have to start out in a you know, one of the fast food places, but that's not the end of it. You could become a private chef. You know, you can pick up from here. I'm like, do you know who you are? Do you know where you came from?
And you're absolutely right to that, Crystal, because see, what you had said sparked this in me, right? What I had experienced in that whole teaching that you just did was that we are taught a certain way to behave and act, right? And to sit in a space of this is all you can get. Meanwhile, you get to be able to create the extraordinary life, right?
Yes.
And what that looked like is just somebody saying that you matter.
Right.
Right? And that you can. And see, when you instill this in our young people, in which that's what I'm a stand for, and that's why I just love partnering with Regina in doing this, is that we get to tell young people that they matter, they great, and they can achieve whatever they want to achieve. You know, whether they like to cook, like to braid hair, you know, like to sew, they like to draw, whatever it is a passion on their heart can now become a real product to live a life of abundance.
That's right. That's right.
And they don't have to live in a modern day slavery, right? Like clocking in at 9 in the morning and clocking out at 5, right? They get to create the life that they want to live. Right. And so, like, I mean, the teaching that you just gave me, the experience that I had with your dialogue and your teaching had really, I was like, wait, hold up. She going to some place that is, you know, like really touching my spirit here, you know. And then when I think about it, right, I thought about those young people back then.
Yes.
You know, being royal, being creative, being mighty, right? You know, and then all of a sudden somebody want to come along and say, you would come out here and then fool them, trick them the same way that they're doing today, fooling and tricking.
That's right.
Fooling and tricking. Right.
That's right.
So I just want to say thank you for that piece of teaching there.
That's right.
Thank God. Thank God. Yes. I love sharing this because I'm like, wow, all this time I didn't even know this.
Right.
I didn't even know this, you know, and so I'm so glad that I was awakened to that. Like, our greatest Black history book is the Bible.
Yes,
right.
It's a Black history book, and I'm looking at how our people, even back then, if you going through the stories, they was awesome.
Oh yeah,
it was.
They were awesome people.
And with you teaching just that, what you just said in that 10-15 minute period, let me tell you something. I was in awe. I had to like take a step back. we get to hear this, and our young people get to hear this.
Yes.
And we're paving the way. Our ancestors paved that way. It's just us to continue to pave it, continue to mark in those stones, continue to driving, forcing, and pushing them to be the greatest that they can be. And see, a lot of young people, they don't believe that. They don't have someone telling them and pushing them and saying, you know what? You matter. You are great.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where we come in at, is that we get to give them just that little bit, and then they get to run with that little bit that we've given them. And that's what
right.
our program is all about. Teaching them, inspiring them, motivating them to be the best that they possibly can be. And that's how they become those rising achievers.
Yes, yes, yes. And I love when I could sit with some of them, and because when with working with them, what I was able to do, thank God, is to create like a space for them where they could do exercise and stuff like that, because they're getting ready. Basically, when they reach me, they're getting ready to go home, so they're getting ready again for the public. So to be able to sit down and talk with some of them, of course, are going to be like, well, Miss Jones, I got this. I got
Of
this.
course.
You're going to have something like that. But you have some that sit and say, you're right. And you could see like a light come on in their head, like, wow, I never knew that. Or
Right.
I never thought about that, And so I know that when you turn that light on in certain, in their head, you kind of get that feeling that when they leave here, they're going to do something else. They're going to realize you got to rethink, what you're doing. You have to redirect your thoughts, because the greatness is in you. All you got to do is keep pushing forward. And I tell them too, I said, listen, a little praying don't help. A little praying doesn't hurt. Ask God for direction and keep it moving, keep going. You're a great God made you that way. We came from a land where we were kings and queens. I think about Joseph, how he became the prime minister of Egypt. He was a Hebrew, and he had become the prime minister of Egypt because he had his brothers were a little jealous of him or whatever, and he was sold into slavery. But when during that time he was able to become friends with the king, the Pharaoh and the people in Egypt and stuff like that, and he had a good personality. They loved him and whatnot. And when he got older, they made him the prime minister of Egypt. And he was able to save his people alive because of that, because lo and behold, his brothers were jealous of him and sold him into slavery. But it worked out that while he was there, the land of Canaan went into a famine. So Joseph was able to save his people, the same people that sold them into slavery. He was able to save them alive, But, again, a Black man who became the prime, like, I don't care what they do to us. It's like, even, because after Joseph had died and whatnot, that's when our people were in slavery in Egypt. And the Pharaoh got jealous of us. Whoever the Pharaoh was at that time, he was jealous. And they had them killing our people, killing the men. Because if you notice, they want to kill the male seed. And this is why our men go through so much, is to get rid of that seed. But the more they do against us, we still survive and thrive. And we still multiply. Always. God always, because we are that seed of people. But I look at the different kings and stuff that are in the Bible that were our people, because you have people in the Bible that were kings and stuff, but they were like Edomites, or they were from that line of Esau. But the ones that are from the line of Jacob, we had some great people that did some good things.
We sure did.
That
still doing great things.
Still doing great things. So I like to get them to look back at, this is where you came from. You came from greatness. Don't live beneath don't live so far beneath your crown.
That's right.
You're like some lost puppy out there. Get up, get up from here and put on your royal clothes.
That's right. And keeping it moving.
That's it. That is it. But ladies, I want to talk about your business, your new 501c3. So tell us a little bit about what's going on with that.
Well, Kim?
Okay, so let me just tell you. So, 29 years ago, I had a passion to, work with youth, right? And
right.
I'm gonna take it back even further than that. I was real young, and I had a passion of working with youth, babysitting, and doing all those things, right? And 34 years ago, I lost my mother.
Okay.
Right? And I'm gonna get honest, and I'm gonna be authentic. And I got strung out on drugs. Right. Mm-hmm. And so sit before you today is someone who has 30 years. I'm coming up on 30 years of sobriety. Right.
Thank God. Blessings.
And so what that looked like is, I was outside one day and I saw some kids playing some basketball because I'm a former basketball player. And so I went in the back there and I live in the projects here. And I went back there and they had a sign up saying they was going to do a basketball league. And I said, what? And they was like, Kim, why don't you coach us? Now, I just want you to know the kids that asked me to coach them was the kids who no one else wanted to be bothered with. Right. Because they would cuss and they would curse and they carried guns and they drank and they did all of that. And I said to them, okay, not a problem. Not a problem. Because see, I used drugs in this neighborhood and I got clean in this neighborhood. And those kids saw me use drugs, right? I was a functional addict because I went to work. They saw me use drugs, right? But they also saw me get clean.
That's right.
Right. And so what I did was I turned my will and my way over to a power greater than myself. And then I just focused on staying clean and being with these young people. With that being said, I made a declaration then that I would give back to this community because this community gave me so much. Those kids gave me so much to live for and, stay clean. Because my kids told me, especially I started with age 8 to 17. So my 15-year-old said to me, I'm gonna tell you right now, coach, if you even think about doing that again, I'm gonna kick your butt. I was like, boy, you better go about They said, for real, coach, because we love you. Right. We love you. Okay. Wonderful. And what you doing with us, nobody else would do it because they told us that we were losers.
Yeah.
They told them they were losers then. Right. And so I was like, what? And so that was a passion on my heart. And then for 29 years, it just sat because I got these jobs, me volunteering with the youth got me a job that had me go be at the Y. I started out as a volunteer and worked my way up as an executive director.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Right. And so that's where I retired from. I retired from the Y. And so what I said this year in May, I said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and open the 501c. I'm going to do it. And that's what I did. Right. And I talked to Regina about it and was telling her about it. And we was just doing a whole lot of stuff when COVID came and we started doing all the Zoom stuff with the kids. And then about a month ago, Regina said to me, let's move. Let's go. I said, I'm ready. I'm ready. Right. And from that point on, we just been moving, keeping it moving, creating these things. Next Sunday will be our first, fundraiser. It's a drive-by dancing in the street for the youth. Right.
Wow.
And so, we're looking to really, really take this to the next level for our youth in the new way of the way we're living. So, and then knowing how passionate that Regina is, I was like, what better partner to have than to have her?
That's right. That's right.
I said, listen, you know what? I want you to come on as my vice president. And she said, absolutely. I said, well,
yes.
Come on, let's do this thing. Let's do this thing. And it's been, a marriage in heaven. You know, it's been a marriage in heaven. We're excited. You know, we got some key components that we're going to work around, you know, building self-esteem, improving personal health, developing employment, providing education and training, providing leadership and service opportunities, you know, where young people actually be able to come in, right, and have, you know, those workshops that actually sharpens their tools. Because I'm gonna just tell you, they already got it. Their parents been teaching them that, and they've been like, "Oh, why are you teaching me that?" You know, because we trying to teach you some stability and responsibility. You know, I have a 37-year-old son with 3 grandchildren, and he used to say to us all the time, "Why do I gotta clean up? Why do I have to do that?" Well, today, this is what he be saying. Go and he tell his girls, go in there and clean your room, take the garbage out. I said,
that's right.
That's right.
You know,
that's
so,
right.
You know, you know, that's where, you know, it all started for me. Come on, partner, tell them where it started for you.
All right.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, wait, Crystal know me. It started for me probably almost 20 something years ago, and me being a residence manager as of now, I worked my way up in the social work, in the social service field, and I work with the mental health. And I started with the Department of Employment, where I was a they call them field supervisors. I was a field supervisor for teen parents, young girls who was pregnant and who had children. And again, those young girls that came through DOE system that nobody wanted to deal with, no one wanted to talk to. And I always said to myself, hey, I am going to have an organization that works just truly around the youth. And then I got caught up with the adults and mental health. And then Kim, knowing her passion for the youth, it brought me right back into that circle. And bringing me back into that circle, you know, Crystal, when I was on your last show, it was all about girlfriends empowerment movement for women. I still do. I still have that because you know what? They have some youth in their lives that they have turned over to me. So with having these young people and being able to sharpen their tools and give them something to be great at, and let them, their mindset, when you said exercise, that really got me, because it's not exercise about physical, it's about the mental, it's about the mind, it's about the body and the soul. So that word just, you triggered me. You triggered me the way, you know, I feel like the kids sometimes trigger me. And I just said to myself, you know, it's up to us just to push them just a little bit. Some of them only need a little bit of push, but there's others that need a big push, but just a little bit. By changing their lives, you get to change other people's lives. So without keeping it moving, what we do is, and our goal is, our mission is to create that space, where youth development is designed towards building their self-esteem, improving their mental and physical health, their personal, their character, you know, their social skills, giving them the opportunity to grow and be in their own truth. And our curriculum, our workshops are geared towards them creating those workshops. Because you know what? We just want to be there to support. We want them to lead us, because they are going to lead us. So we have to allow them to. We don't want them to come and sit into a curriculum or workshop where we're doing all the talking and we want them to do it. Because when you see young people talking and creating this space for them, you know, they get the respect from us as we give them that same respect, and they have that safety, and they begin to trust, and they begin to realize that, you know what, somebody cares just a little bit about them. Somebody wants them to be, want them to pull out their greatness that's in them. So our goal is to create that win-win world for them, create that space for them where they get to thrive and become our rising achievers, because we need them. And you know, when I was young, you know, we always had the mom and pops where they was teaching us. I was a basketball player too. So Kim and I, we, not knowing this, fell right into alignment, because I played in high school, I played in college, I played overseas, I played ball. And you know what? That is what got me out the ghetto.
Yes.
And so that got me saying, you know what? I'm better than this. I ain't got to sit here. I can move forward. I can do this. And so our young people, some of them are afraid to make that step. And we all, right now, we get fearful. And I told Kim the other day, I said, you know what, Kim? You know what? I'm scared. I fear our next step. But you know what? We got to go for it, because you know what? If we go for it, the young people that we're bringing with us is going to go for it with us. And
that's right.
And that's the goal. That's what we are looking to do. And as I said, as Kim said, next week, October 25th, we have our Dancing in the Streets drive-by, and it's something different. We have to be different to create difference and get the results that we want. So here it is. We had to make a decision on, you know what, are we going to sit back and wait for this pandemic to end? Or are we going to move forward? Are we going to keep it moving and do something differently? So let's do this drive-by. Let's do this fundraiser. Let's create the space. Let's create things for our young people to keep moving, because you know what? If anybody is having the hardest time during this pandemic, it is our young people, because some of them, they didn't get a graduation. Their friendships are distant, because now you have to do it over the phone. You have to do it through social distancing. Some of them are doing remote learning, so they're not in the classroom. Let me tell you something. When we were coming up, being in the classroom and being at school was the best time of our lives. So I know that some of them are missing that. They're missing that touch. They're missing that feeling, that connection. So they are dealing with some difficult times. I can't go skating because it's the pandemic. I can't go to the movies. I can't engage with my friends at McDonald's or whatever that may be. So their lives have been turned upside down. So we got to give them something that allows them to create an amazing space, an amazing world for them.
True.
And that's what we're here to do.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Absolutely.
So within your program, basically at this point, what are you doing as far as basically this is I'm taking it you've started this program for how many years now?
This is just a jump off. It's not even a year. We started, I would say, right during the pandemic, where we actually started doing the Zoom that you were introduced and entered into. So for us, this is a launch for us. And we're looking for all the support, all the help that we can get. We don't have a space, but I'm sure that, our angels above is going to drop down a location for us, because, they see this. Everyone sees that this is needed and is much needed in all of our communities. So what we're doing, because it's called Keeping It Moving, we're moving all around the world. So we are offering our 2-day workshops, our leadership workshops, our Rising Achiever workshops all over. So we're asking and looking for people to bring some youth to us so that we can come and we can do some transformations and give them that self-discovery of their values and all of those things for them. So that's where we're at with this.
Okay. So how do people that maybe want their youth to, come and maybe be a part of your movement, what would you suggest that they do?
Well, a lot of stuff that we have is on Facebook Live, on Facebook. Kim has her phone number, my phone number, for anyone to reach out to us in that manner as of right now. And we're exploring those ways to continue to, and I'm always live at 7 a.m. in the morning, and I'm putting it out there. I'm asking people to come out on the 25th, get our names and numbers, and this is how we're moving forward. Our goal, I know Kim and I are working towards the goal of getting into the school system, being able to offer our workshops and things like that inside the YMCAs and the different programs, even church organizations, and providing the 2-day workshop and then sharing it, not just in New York, in Georgia, in California, in all of these different places, because we already have had those contacts. And that's what we want to do. So anybody that has a youth group, We are happy to do the transformations 2-day workshops. And I know Kim and I are creating the 90-day curriculum for them to do with our young people. And like a lot of them don't go on nature walks. A lot of them don't go into camping. We want to be able to provide a lot of that for them. And as you know, what I like about what we're pushing forward for is that it takes 90 days for young people, for anyone to change their way of living. So we are creating that curriculum where they get to do some things in those 90 days that they may not have ever done in their entire life. But as they move forward, they'll be able to continue to do that and teach this on to their peers. Kim?
And so, and when she said the 90 days, remember 90 days it takes to like change a habit, right? They get to actually change the way they think, the way they see things, their perspective to life, right? And then in that workshop, they'll be able to have some peer tutoring, self-image, healthy relationships. It's all about, you know, the critical elements that is overt and recognized, and celebration of individual accomplishments, right? So really, really like bringing it all together. Young people really, really get to see how great they are, right? Because now you have adults who believe in them, right? Because see, a lot of our young people, we don't know what they're coming from. What's their history, right? And so when you create a space of of safety, right, where they actually get to feel safe there, and they start to actually, you know, say, I'd rather be here in this space, right? They'll be able to like actually tell you what's going on, and then you actually be able to have them move in a direction of self-belief, right? Because they're actually living in a place of, you know, be, do, have. Right? They figure they got to be this here in order to do this, in order to have this. Meanwhile, they need to go ahead and actually live it. Right?
True.
You know, they actually need to live it. So it making a win-win world for them, and letting them know that there are people who believe and trust in them, you know, to make it all possible. But as Regina said, if anybody wants to reach out to us, our phone numbers are accessible on the flyer, right? They can reach out to us, give us a phone call, let us know, you know, let us know if they have any young person or they interested in volunteering with us. You know, our doors is open to accepting, you know, folks to support us in any capacity.
Okay. Right.
And Crystal, can I read you our vision?
Yes, please do. Please.
The vision. Keeping It Moving Youth Center Incorporated is a 501c3 organization that is changing, transforming, and building lives of our youth who we know are our future. KIM is about allowing our youth to have a voice and rise above all obstacles in achieving their goals. We take pride in the work that we do to equip our youth with the tools they need to be different and make a difference, standing against all odds that society has thrown in their paths to not succeed, but we allow them to succeed. They get to build a world of new normalcy, and the time is now. This is the beginning of a beginning. Faith and courage is the key to the door reopening and the happiness reappearing for the what's next for all youth. Together, we get to teach, inspire, and motivate, to embrace life in a whole new way by creating workshops that let me read that again. To embrace life in a whole new way by creating workshops and a curriculum for all of our youth to be rising achievers. Full speed. We get to keeping it moving now.
Wow.
That's
awesome.
Vision.
Yes, that's
your vision. That's an awesome vision. What would be the main email that people can like reach you at?
They can reach us at Waldon, New York at gmail.com.
Waldon, New York at gmail.com.
Right. That's WALDONNEWYORK at gmail.com.
Okay. And you don't have an age limit to the youth?
So here's the thing. No, we don't have an age limit, right? Because all young people need somebody to believe in them, right?
Right.
And so in this moment, right, we looking to touch, move, and inspire all youth.
Okay.
All, right. So, you know, I have a background with 6 months to 21 years old, you know, from when I was, you know, working at the Y. I started out as a volunteer teaching 2 and 3 year olds the fundamentals of basketball. And then I managed the Ys where I had, you know, 3-month-old rooms, you know, for, you know, toddler program, infant programs, all the way up to 21-year-old, you know, programs. So I have a full background in that, and I'm licensed in that area. So I didn't put an age limit to this because I want it to be a space where all young people come and get what they need. It's, you know, it's you know, you can come in and drop in this, and you can shop and get everything you need right here.
Right.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's wonderful, because I'm sure, you know, a lot of parents would be, you know, interested in, you know, finding things, because like you said, right now with the pandemic, because I'm hearing people every day, I hear women complain to me about what's going on with their children. You know, the kids are tired of being in the house. They're just tired of not really having, you know, that interaction, like you said, with the kids in school and all of that kind of thing. So they are looking for things for their children, you know, to do. And, you know, these women have children of all ages.
Right.
So I know a lot of them are having issues with the toddlers. Well, not the toddlers, but the, you know, the 5 and 6 year olds.
Right. Yep.
That are, you know, kindergarten and first grade.
That's right.
Because to have them sit in front of a computer for hours, wow. That's all I could say, because I can't even imagine having to do something like that, you know. You know, if I had children that were that young, that's got to be very challenging and discouraging, you know, for parents, because you know, some parents kind of feel like, well, I know that's my child, but I'm really not a teacher, or, you know what I mean?
Right.
But you know what, when you say that, it's like when your child turns 17 and they need to learn how to drive, and you have no patience to be able to teach them how to drive, and you're like, you know what, you're going to driving school, because and it's a struggle. So, and I take my hat off to those parents who have those 5 and 6 and 7 year olds. I also take my hat off to those teachers who are also remotely teaching them, because it is difficult. It is not an easy task.
No,
and see, here's exactly where we can come in, right, and partner with the parents, right? Like, you know, with those 5 and 6 year olds, where they actually get to have some time, right? Like, you know, as Regina said, keeping it moving is because we get to move wherever the need is, right? So like I can actually, you know, run a program right in the park on a beautiful day like today, right? For parents for an hour.
That's right.
That will actually support them in the social and emotional learning for their young person, that actually have them want to thrive in another area.
That's right.
So we get to bring the program to the parent. So whatever the parent is looking for, we get to bring it to them. We get to bring it to them. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. And that's definitely, you know, what they need, you know, to have somebody to, you know, work along with them. And like you said, Regina, I definitely appreciate the teachers that take their time. There's a lady that tells me about her, and you know, because I know she's very, she's trying really hard to deal with her 6-year-old. So she tells me about it. So I said, okay, what's going on with little so-and-so this week? And so she'll, you know, tell me how the teacher works along with her. And I know she appreciates that, because she was telling me how her 6-year-old, at first he kind of he wasn't used to sitting still for that long, and he couldn't understand why the teacher wouldn't interact with him, all the time.
That's true.
He doesn't have the understanding that she has a whole classroom full of kids online, so she can't continue to address his situation as he would want to.
So let me ask Crystal, let me ask you a question. How many 5 and 6-year-olds that we know will sit still for schools at a remote, looking at a computer from, what is it, 8 o'clock to 2 o'clock? How many do we know? I'm gonna raise my hand. I don't know none.
No.
I don't know none.
Not at all. So it's nice hearing her journey though.
Yeah.
Because she told me even this week, she said, I caught him where she said, I thought letting him sit at the dining room table where he would have space for his books and stuff. She said, well, I caught him lean back on the chair. She said he had his feet up on the table, just chilling out. And she was
I'm surprised he wasn't under the table with the computer. You know how they do?
That's what I said. But we sit and we laugh about it and whatnot. And, she just said, thanks for asking. Cause it really, it helps her to talk about it. You know what I mean? But she said it's getting better, she's
good.
getting,
That's good. That's good.
So to hear you all say that, you would work along with the parents and stuff like that, that's good, because like you said, it's not for you to really just take the lead and just say, hey, this is what we're doing type thing, because, children have different personalities and things like that. And that's what we need to work on drawing out of them. Even me, myself, like I said, we're working with the incarcerated young men, finding out what's in their head. What do they want to do? Where do they see themselves in the future? Where would they like to see themselves? As opposed to me saying, hey, you better not come back here no more. You better, and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
It's better for me to listen, and hear what's going on in their head and help them with redirecting their thoughts. Because like I said, some of them I found where they're like, wow, I never heard that before. Okay, I'm going to consider that and, apply it to what I would want to do. Anyway, ladies, thank you so much. This went by so quickly.
It did.
You're always welcome to come back to the Crystal Jones Show. And to all my listeners, thank you all for tuning in. I will put the information up on my page and the different flyers that you all have. I'll put them up. And so, people can get in touch with you. But don't hesitate to come back, and congratulations.
Thank you. We hope to see you at the drive-by.
Oh, that's next week?
Next Sunday.
Next Sunday.
Oh, it's next Sunday. Not sure, because I have classes on Sunday.
Okay.
But maybe another time, another event that you do or something, I'll
absolutely
definitely try to come out. But congratulations to you both.
Thank you.
And everybody, thank you all for tuning again to the Crystal Jones Show, the show that's all about life's balance. And I always tell you stay balanced. God bless you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Using church intimidation, controlling manipulation, Jezebel and all them spirits fall back, not trying to hear it. Go with Jesus, walk in peace. On your pew can sit that beast that we're fighting in the world. I'm that JC Supergirl, Jesus Christ, belt of truth, arm of God. I'm slaying you. Power